Okay, everybody. Hi, welcome. Come on in here.
Get in, take a seat. Come on in.
Come on in and join us. This is the podcast for Empathy and Imagination, and my name is Aubrey.
And I am Drew Clark. I would like to acknowledge you for taking the time out of your day to listen to our podcast and consider commenting, sending us a little note, forwarding it to a friend who might also like this podcast.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, so we'd like to first start with by saying thank you to our sponsors. Of course, this show is brought to you by Clark Pool and Spa. Clark Pool and Spa services the greater East Bay area for all your pool and spa needs. Also brought to you, of course, by Final Corp. Finally, a corporation that serves all of your needs.
Yes.
And we'd like to first say, you can reach out to us on youtube.com, also patreon.com/empathy and imagination. We're also on Facebook and all those other fun places. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes as well.
Yes.
So thank you all for being here.
I'd like to thank Zenith for making televisions, and also like to thank Pepperidge Farms for inventing television in 1989.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. 89, Pepperidge Farms. I remember.
Pepperidge Farms.
Yeah.
So thank you to them. All right, maybe we should do a check-in.
Let's check in.
Be a little bit of a downer, but I'll check in.
Yeah,
first.
you go first. Thanks, man.
It's been a tough month, you know? So my mom's got the ocular melanoma. So, prognosis is good there. But quickly on the heels of that news, my dad wasn't feeling well. My stepdad, but he's
Basically
been
your
around,
dad,
so he's
yeah.
my dad. Wasn't feeling well. Went into the hospital. They said, "Oh, we need to put a stint in your heart," which is like, open up the tube a little bit. And
it's a spring.
Yeah,
They put it in one of your tubes. Yeah.
And when they do that, they realize, oh, got to do some more work here. Got to do some work on the plumbing. So triple bypass, which is pretty intense.
That's intense.
And then, after that happens, they want to take the breathing tube out. But in order for that to happen, it needs to be aware and awake and taking deep breaths and able to breathe on his own, which is not happening. It's been like 2.5 weeks.
That your dad's been sort of...
He's just been basically sedated, not responsive. He was waking up and thrashing around in a panic. So they sedated him. And the doctors are like, yeah, he'll come out of it, no big deal.
Really?
Yeah. So they seem to be, it's just another day in the park.
Usually they're like, I don't know. Usually they're trying to push vibes down.
Yeah. So, and no one really has a timeline on recovery. Plus, his kidneys are shit, and so he's on dialysis. He's on the breathing tube. He's sedated. I guess he has pneumonia too. Because
oh my god!
Hospitals are just
they're
germ farms.
I don't like going there.
Yeah. So that's pretty intense. Just waiting to see what happens.
Man, I feel for you. That's a lot all at once. You must be feeling mortal.
Yeah, it's been on my mind a lot. And then I think I was just stressed out, so I got sick. Because I was just thinking and not sleeping.
Notice we weren't here last week because half of the show was sick.
Yep, and then I had jury duty last week.
Oh shit!
And he's like, if you want to be excused for financial hardship, present some documentation to me. The judge said this. And
to you?
To everyone. And I'm like, I wasn't ready to bring in documentation,
Yeah.
Anyway, I have to go back tomorrow.
Whoa.
And, just try to get excused. Because it's a murder case.
Oh.
And it's, the judge said, yeah, it'll be about 6 to 8 days. We're hoping the trial. I can't miss work.
You get like
It's
$14 a
8
day,
days.
right? Isn't that like what the deal is?
If your employer pays, some employers don't pay you.
I thought the state
jury
had to
duty.
pay you like lunch and $20 a day.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I think I think it varies state to state. So anyway, I can't afford to take 8 days off. I mean, it's just insane. Think about your business, like taking 8 days off.
Absolutely not.
Couldn't do it.
Absolutely
Couldn't do it.
not.
Couldn't do it.
You can't.
Yeah. So I have my documentation now, and I'm going to present that tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been a
you
weird
work
start
for-
to the year.
You work for a nonprofit. They're not rolling in the dough for that kind of a thing.
Right. And it's weird because it almost puts corporations in charge of the justice system.
Ooh.
Because people who get paid have more of people who get paid for jury duty have more of an incentive to want to do jury duty. You know what I mean? It's I don't know, it's complicated, it's weird. And if I got paid for it, I would do it because it's an interesting process. It
It's
really,
sort of an honor
yeah,
to be involved in this enormous country's justice system.
yeah, and you get to see the process, which is fascinating. You realize how powerful the concept of due process is. No matter who you are, you get the same. You go through the same steps, and you get the same, legitimacy to your case.
Unless you're insanely wealthy.
Yeah, there's that argument. Celebrities and wealthy people get a little bit more of a pass.
Like O.J. Simpson,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, O.J., Trump, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just an unfortunate
Well-
aspect of it.
I mean, let me ask.
But then there's Bernie Madoff.
Right. Right.
He actually went to prison, but I
Yeah.
guess he wasn't really a celebrity before that.
But his name is Madoff.
Madoff with all the money. I know.
Yeah. And he
That's to me that's like evidence that we're living in a simulation.
the main thief of 2009 or 8 or whatever it was his name was
His name was
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, or like a super hot like Megan Fox. Like
Yeah.
she's a fox,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the name just seems to line up with their lifestyle. It's like, is it chicken and the egg or what?
Well, let me ask you, how are your feelings? I mean, talking about your mom and your dad and the weight of course, economics and then this other thing. Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel?
Feel mortal. I
Mortal.
guess. Feel mortal. But I feel thankful for everything that's going well, because there's a lot that's going well. So I feel thankful and grateful for what I do have. And, you sort of got to come to terms with not things that you can't control. Powerlessness, which is like a great feeling, and it can be a great feeling, and it can be a horrible feeling,
It's like Zen.
right?
Like, powerlessness sort of is Zen, sort of.
Yeah,
letting
like
go of anything.
you think about like the act of love.
Wait,
Right?
the physical act? Or?
Yeah, the physical act of love with intimate partner.
Yeah. It's
There's a
good time.
point you are sort of powerless at a certain point, and it feels great.
Yeah. But you're
But-
sort of both people are consenting people are
Yes.
doing the thing they want to do.
But when it's powerlessness of shit that people dying or whatever, then it's like that's the other side of the coin of powerlessness.
Well, you mentioned that this was your stepdad, so then your birth father is passed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So some powerlessness.
Yeah. So I say, I'm always saying we need more dads. So
More
so
dads.
everybody out there, make some babies.
Yeah.
And stick around after the baby goes
Yeah.
out.
With consenting ladies,
With
and then
consenting
stick around.
ladies. Yes. Other than that, I'm playing a lot of music. I'm playing with Tim, who was on our last
Can we hear anything
episode.
later? Is that possible?
60th episode. We haven't recorded anything, three of
Okay.
us. But it's me, Tim, and Steve, who plays fiddle.
Cool.
so far. Looking for a drummist. Hint, hint. That's cool. Playing with him. And I guess I was feeling kind of old playing with those because they're like 25.
Yeah.
They're all thin, and, thin and beautiful.
Bright teeth.
Yeah. All new parts, fairly new parts. And yeah, Steve was like, "Yeah, I went to a jam the other day." And he's like, "Yeah, it was kind of sucked because it was just a bunch of old guys." And he's like, "No offense." I was like, "Yeah,
But you're
that's the way it
savage on
is."
the bass guitar, don't they know? I mean, that's why you're in
Yeah,
the band.
but I was just feeling like, oh man, getting old.
I hear that.
But with age comes wisdom, I suppose. So
Yeah.
you get over it. I mean, you can't. Again, it's something that's out of your control. You can't do anything about it. Just age gracefully, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, feeling a little bit alone, mortal. Well, I don't really feel old though.
Your body doesn't, feel old.
Body doesn't feel old. My mindset isn't old, And situations like this, it really you find out if you're an optimist or not. You find out what your attitude is. So even though, there's like all kinds of health issues with my parents, I'm still like in a good mood most of the time.
Wow. Well, that's
And
the best part.
yeah, it's like it takes practice. I mean, it's like something you got to work at. And staying busy helps. So playing music with Tim so I play with the sort of indie rockers on Tuesdays, Tim on Wednesdays, and the guest speakers, the Spooky Doom, Spooky Metal on Thursdays, and then indie rockers on Fridays, and then yacht rock on Sundays.
Whoa, is that 5 days a
Pretty
week?
good. Yeah, 5 days a week. Which is good because you immediately notice improvement in your ability. Even if you've been playing for 20 years.
You're better
If
now
you're
than you
just-
were 2 months ago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Way better.
Wow.
Maybe not way better, but yeah, better.
That's cool.
'Cause you're just, if you're playing every day, it's just familiar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the time it takes to warm up isn't as long, and you gain little stunts and little tricks each time you add it to your repertoire.
Oh.
So that's feeling pretty good.
That's cool. I like that. I like that.
What else? Yeah, just been working a lot too.
How's work going? What's your work life right now?
Work's great, actually. Doing a lot of, system administration, networking. It's pretty good. I wish I was doing more programming, but I think I can just do that on my own. Zeiss Digital, also a sponsor.
Sponsored by Zeiss Digital. Can
But yeah, it's good.
you write code like all the young hipsters are doing? Do you know how to do that?
I can write code, yeah. And there's a zillion programming languages, and programming is very faddish in the sense that there's always the hot new language to program in.
Oh, they're making
You
new
know.
languages all the time?
Yeah, they're always blah blah blah, but there are some like tried and true ones that are still around from the old, like some some
Like
are
DOS.
some are just so well put together that they're still being used. Like for game development, the field is pretty narrow for programming languages. But the web, and the web is pretty much the same too. It's just things just get more efficient and more differently packaged. But that's what I did for years was web programming.
Why don't you join one of those super startupsters?
Startupsters?
Yeah, why don't you jump on that bandwagon and get
Yeah.
$120,000 a year to just do this, write code,
Could.
fix games all day?
Yeah. But does that sound fun? Sitting
No,
typing all day?
no. But I mean, it sounds fun to.
It'd be fun to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
But what I do now is sort of I work with people. I'm walking around. I'm doing different things. So it's nice. There's like variety.
Okay.
But if I was just sitting there all day working in C++, coding pixel shaders for one fucking cutscene in a game, that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. Does the financial
Every day.
I mean,
You know?
does all that money doesn't sway you enough? Obviously.
No. No, I think there's a cap on how much money it takes to be happy. There were studies. I think it was around like 70 grand a year.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And then, like, you know, above and beyond that, it doesn't change that much, your happiness. It's like once you have the basics covered and you can sack a little money away, I think that's what everyone wants, right?
Yeah, if like you can live and have a nice meal and smoke your pipe and drink your ale or wine and
Yeah.
staff a couple hundred away every month or something, you're going to be all right.
And, you know, there's people who are obsessive about it.
About stashing it away.
Yeah, about money. And
Well, you could argue that incredibly wealthy people, that's like a sickness where
Could be.
they've got I've got
Yeah.
13 million in cash, but I don't feel safe until I have 25 million in cash.
yeah, and you wonder what the end game is. I get, like, you know, providing for your kids, your grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like Warren Buffett he's not giving his kids much.
Neither
He's
is
just
Bill
like,
Gates.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're getting a couple million. That's it.
Yeah. But Trump said something, I think it was in The Art of the Deal. He's like, I like money, sure, but it's also a way to keep score.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of interesting. It's like
Mhm.
a high scoreboard, you know, leaderboard.
But the game is destructive.
Yeah, I mean, should you even be playing this game? I don't know, but
Well,
I just thought that was an interesting way, like, perspective on money.
Mm,
Like, it's
just
just
a
a it's just a
scoreboard.
way to keep score.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. That's basically my check-in.
Okay.
I think.
Thank you.
But on the concept of Jeff Bezos, the guy
Yeah,
who found-
$105 billion.
the richest man ever in the history of the world.
I thought there were some Saudi princes who had more than $100 billion.
Maybe he's up there though.
I heard he's the richest man in the world. I heard that.
Yeah, but like that has ever been
Yeah. $105 billion to
richest
a person?
richest that a human being has ever been.
And he seems pretty, like, under the radar, you know?
Yeah, I think he owns Washington Post or something.
He
Has a majority stake in it.
Yeah, he bought the Washington Post. He also bought a bunch of land. I think, like, hundreds of thousands of acres somewhere.
I mean, if you had that much money, wouldn't you just be like just throwing it at problems? Throwing it at the biggest problems
yeah,
we
you
have?
be going like this. I mean, like, okay, AIDS, cancer, poverty,
Yeah.
loneliness. Like,
Yeah. Maybe he is doing that. You just don't. You'd think that would be. We need to start like a cultural. It needs to be part of the culture. To. Like, if you're rich and you're not working on the biggest problems of the world, then you should be. There should be like a stigma against it. We need to cultivate that.
okay. So then,
Like, oh, you're just super rich and you're buying mansions. Why aren't you trying to help poor people?
Start a company that.
That's
does
what you
something
do when you
cool.
get rich.
Yeah.
We need to start that cultural project.
Well, I like the idea of a maximum amount of cash you can have. I mean, like, say Clark Pool and Spa were to do really well, and I got all this cash. At a certain point, it'd be like, okay, Drew, time to invest. Like, invest in a new someone else, so they can can use the money to make betterness.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it is that cable.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's one of these.
That mic sounds good though.
That's my check.
That's your check-in?
That's my check-in.
Okay, I'll check in. Yeah, I'm gonna check in.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking in, by the way. And thanks for listening, everybody. So yeah, I'm actually pretty good. I've been wearing. I got medical insurance.
Oh, nice.
So I actually qualified because of the amount of money our company makes. I qualified for Covered California. so that California assists with me having health coverage because we're married and have a small family business that makes very little money.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, yeah, we'll help you have health. We want that to happen.
Wow.
So here's some health coverage. So for now, and it's all, we didn't lie about anything. It's like they covered like 98% of our healthcare costs, and we have a couple copays, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's the monthly damage on that?
it's $2 a month.
Huh.
But dental is like another $28 a month. So we're like
still
$30 a month,
reasonable.
and we have body and dental.
Huh.
So I was like, remember I hurt my foot. I don't know if the audience remembers that I injured my foot months ago.
Uh-huh.
And I've been limping every day in pain every day for months now. And I just was like, well, I guess I'll make a doctor appointment. And I did. And I've been wearing a boot for the last few days. So I have this big Velcro-y boot that I'm cleaning pools, like limping, like I'm like limping around cleaning pools, and it's like pretty funny. And you got to take it off.
What
when
was
you
the
drive.
injury? Just a sprain?
My mushed tendinitis is the technical term.
Okay.
I mashed my tendons in the middle of my right foot. Little tears, little abrasions, all to my tendons. I got messed up, and walking on it just re-injured it, re-injured. So now that I'm wearing this boot, I'm not using those muscles, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt when I wear the boot. So I'm going to keep wearing the boot for another week, and then it's time for some physical therapy stretches, and then I'm back. So I feel like, wow, okay, there's some Western medicine really coming in and going, okay, and that feels good. I feel good that like I had a positive Kaiser experience, which has been a long time.
Yeah.
And the doctor I had wasn't demeaning or belittling. The nurse wasn't demeaning. I'm used to just everyone's just pissed, and maybe
hostile, hostile doctors,
hostile nurses too. It's just like, Mr. Clark, you know, and it's like, whoa. But the nurse was like, she smiled. She's like, hey, come on in, take your shoe off, have a seat,
have a triple bypass.
Yeah, it wasn't quite like that.
Thanks for coming out tonight. We are Hostile Doctor.
Yeah, Hostile Doctor. So I did that, and that's feeling good. I feel like I haven't been able to jog, but I've been lifting a bunch of weights lately, which has been feeling really good too. And I don't own any weights, so I'm using brewery equipment to swing around my living room.
Oh, cool!
And that's fun. Like, you know, the CO2 tank for a kegerator. I'm just like curling it, doing all this because like it's got a handle, you know.
Very Rambo. Or
Yeah.
not Rambo. Rocky 4.
Yeah, it is pretty Rocky 4, and I'm gonna keep doing it because it's like it doesn't look like you have weights in your house, but it's a cool weight to use, and it's like a big kettlebell, basically. So that feels good.
You could put a harness on your dog, Inferno, and then attach a big pole to it, and then just
curl Inferno. Like, yeah, 70-pound dog, get him. Yeah, he's cute. He'd probably go along with it. He likes me. So that's feeling good. You know, Clark Pool and Spa, it's surviving. You know, there's bumpiness.
Yeah.
My wife got a job. It's
Oh, I know she's been looking for a while.
She's been looking for a long time, and she's got a job. It's very basic stuff, and it's basically under the table, because it would be silly to be over the table because it's so part-time and so small. But so that's working out.
Okay.
She likes it.
Is that nearby, or is it?
It's in Berkeley. It's down by you.
Okay.
So now I'm going to talk about what doesn't feel very good.
Okay.
I got pretty upset at a band practice we were at a couple days ago. At one of the members of a band you and I are both in. It wasn't you. I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
But I've noticed that this feeling has followed me for a couple of days now.
Oh, since
And so
Thursday?
Since Thursday. So I'm like,
Sunday now.
yeah. So I'm going like, well, let me talk about it then. Like, what should I bring up to try to be transparent and clear to myself and to the people listening and to you? And it's like I'm pretty disappointed, but it's like I guess I brought it on myself. I knew that this person in the band was like they are, and I was asked to join this band, and I did. And this person, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain for me, but it's basically like
Yeah, you got time.
this guy forgets a lot of stuff. He tries to play the riffs and he forgets them, but then he blames other people and kind of rants and rages while we're all sort of waiting there. And I had a couple of eruptions in the practice where this person was like, we had been doing this one part over and over that we've done over and over and over and over and over and over. And we were doing it again, and he had forgotten it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, how are we gonna go if it's like we're always playing like 3 weeks ago what we already taught everybody?
One step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, and he said, well, we got to practice this to get it right. And I said, it's not we, it's you.
Yeah.
And there was no response to that because it's true. And everyone,
Yeah.
and he knew it, and everyone knew it. We just sat there, and I was being mean. I was being mean. That's not really normal.
Yeah.
I don't normally do that, but these are my feelings, and they came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like I'm like going, well, shh. So I have two minds. One mind is like, Drew, this is your Zen master.
Mm-hmm.
He's here to teach you patience in a new way.
Okay.
Get out of your head, get into your heart, turn up the empathy, and learn. That's one.
Yeah.
The other one is get away from this person. Whatever that means, just get away from them.
Yeah.
So I'm going
I hear that.
I'm going to empathy and imagination. Okay, so I want to be in a band. We've worked hard on this a lot. We have some really cool material. In fact, we played it for some people, and they were like, wow, I like that second song. That's really good. That's a good sign.
Right.
So, but it's like this guy forgets a third to 10% of the material. Like,
Is it the forgetting, or is it some other? Is there? It's the forgetting and other things.
well, forgetting coupled with blaming other people for him forgetting.
Yeah.
Like he'll go, well, you smoked marijuana, and that, I mean, I can't believe you would do that. And so clearly, that's no good. And I'm like, well, no, because that has never, I mean, I can demonstrate usage of cannabis and music off and on and to different degrees, and I can pull through, and it doesn't affect me in a way. But it affects him, so he goes, well, I'm having a hard time, so let's just put the blame other places. And so this person forgets things and then blames other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the ageist thing pops up a little. I'm like, whoa, is this guy just like...
Oh yeah, it doesn't respect younger people or something.
Yeah, well, he's said that he doesn't trust anyone younger. The other thing about this person is that they've very clear... Every time we bring up a thing like, oh, well, maybe we'll go on a tour, or I can imagine this tool to work well for our goals, like, oh, a trailer or whatever it is.
How about this idea?
How about this idea? The
Throwing
response is...
I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, the
Let's
response
throw out
is,
ideas
is
and see what-
always like, oh, this is how we would get fucked. This is how people would run us over.
Yeah.
This is how it will fail. And it's just paranoia. Like this person, and this is where the empathy comes in too, because I realize that in order to be spewing paranoid psychopathy all the time, it can't be fun in here. It's not going to be fun in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, damn, if I take a minute, just get my feelings out of it, and I go, okay, let me just listen to this person's experience, take myself out of it, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking dark. And I feel empathy for the darkness that exists.
That's fair. But empathy, as we know, is not always good.
No, and there are
And
limitations to empathy.
There are limitations to it. And, I think people can change. They sort of have like a... a set like spectrum of change. You can change, but you can only change so much. I can't just become a genius.
Well, I would argue that you're pretty close there, sir. So,
or something like that. And so, in one sense, it's like you want to empathize with this person, and like, yeah, maybe I have hope that they'll change and they'll sort of realize. But the other side of that is you don't want to be just tied to this toxic person that is not nourishing you at all. It's not mutually nourishing. It's actually mutually depleting. Like,
to both.
he must feel depleted because he's so negative all the time.
Well, is
and
my
definitely depletes me.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm. So we both know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I've said stuff like this to his face. It's not like I'm like afraid to tell him.
Right.
So I mean, like, I don't know.
So what do you do?
What do I do?
How long do you wait around?
Is there a quotient
it's
or
the
a question?
It's the ruined cottage. There's a poem, the ruined cottage.
Thank you.
It's about,
what's this poem? Tell me.
And it's about a woman who's hanging around in her cottage, waiting for her husband to come back from war or something. And she's hopeful that he'll come back, so she just keeps waiting there, and everything just falls into disrepair. And it's sort of a story about how hope is not always good, and you can't be sacrificing your own happiness in the hopes that this other person's going to change. It's, you have to be looking out for number one, right?
But looking out for number one includes looking out for your community.
Sure. But again, what are the limits there? I mean, it's one of my core questions of life. It's like, what are the parameters of true friendship? Do you how far do you go trying to make it work? And if I want no jerks in my life, is that selfish? How does that fit in with empathy? Do you cut these people loose? Would you be happier?
I wouldn't be happier if I didn't have another cool band to be in. Like, that would reduce my happiness.
Okay.
It would reduce my happiness to have worked 9 months on a project and then throw it away. Again, like, this has happened a lot.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to tell me about that shit.
Like, you've
That's why I'm like, let's book the show before we even get the band together.
Yeah, just like book it. Because then you make it happen and do it. And then at least there's proof.
Then you make it happen. Because you can always come up with excuses. Oh, we're not ready yet.
Yeah. That's why you and I perform well together, because we're like, what's the best that we can do now? And then we do it.
Yeah. I hear that, man. I appreciate your feelings. I share them.
Thank you. I wonder if there's some kind of question or marker that would be good to have as a working model in these situations. Like, once I get to here, then it's good to cut. Or once I get to here, then I'm committed to help this person heal. But that's sort of maybe like a question for the day. Like, when you're in this relationship with somebody, and you're both working towards something you both want, but holy shit, is this person difficult? Is there some kind of question or quotient or allegory that would make it so that you could be safe in understanding, like, well, once I make this point, I realized, I mean, there's no going back. One of those is like physical violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this person were to try to harm me physically, I'd be like, well, you're out.
Yeah.
And that would be foolish of this person because of their age and smallness.
Right.
I would very gently stop them. So, I don't know. Maybe we got to leave that as a question there.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any
maybe we
answers.
just ding that check-in bell and move on.
I mean, I hear that.
Whew, thanks for that long check-in.
I hear the check-in.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I share it.
You got anything to add to that situation? Because I do, but
I mean, it does seem like a waste to. Everything's on spec, right? Everything's on speculation. Seems like a waste to throw away all the practice and stuff. But
And they're
if
good
but if you're not
songs.
making any progress in the practice, then what are you really throwing away?
But then the truth is, we have several songs.
Yeah.
And we are making progress, and we do have a show booked, although
Right.
it doesn't have a venue.
Yeah.
Compare that with the other new band I'm in. We've had 2 practices
Yeah.
with both guitarists and myself, and we have 4 songs.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're fucking awesome.
Yep.
And the band I'm talking about with you, we've had 9 months of practice,
Yeah.
and we have 4 songs.
full- the yacht rock band that I'm in. I think we're going to call ourselves Sausalito
Dude, nice.
after the Lost in Translation band.
Wait, Sausalito? Was that in that movie?
Yeah, there was like the band in the bar.
In Japan?
Yeah. It's like, hello, we are Sausalito, and he like fools around. He like has a one night stand with the singer. female singer.
Sausalito. Okay.
Anyway, it's good name.
Well, it makes sense for
But-
where you guys are and all that.
Yeah, and it just sounds so cheesy. But that band, we've had 2 practices, and yeah, we have like 12 songs down.
Yeah.
So
That's such a difference. And
skill,
but
people show up and they're ready.
Those
they
are
know the
covers.
parts. They're covers. It's true.
That's
They're also like, they're very complex.
yeah.
They're not just 3-chord rock. It's like very sophisticated R&B, easy listening stuff.
It's a lot of
so
bass.
it's not easy just because they're covers.
No, no.
It's actually a little harder because you have something to compare it to, and you can say, "Oh man, this doesn't even hold a candle to that."
Yeah, and you need it needs to be recognizable enough for people to dance.
Yeah. But it is true. We're not writing parts.
But still, 11 songs and 2 practices of covers is about the same as writing 4 songs
Yeah.
and 2 practices, just because you want to.
So.
So
it's like, is this person going to get better at remembering and not being so negative? And if not, how much can one take of that shite?
yeah, I have a recording today of this practice I'm speaking of.
Let's get right into it then.
And since we're here, we can show a little bit of what we're talking about, and I can play a taste of. You can hear the drums and the bass and the vocals playing a song, and you can hear the guitar kind of also. And I think I'll play just a few seconds of that at some point today. Maybe now's the time.
Maybe now's the time.
Yeah, maybe now's the time, and then you can just go, oh yeah, the guitar sounds pretty weird. Yeah. Hope y'all are ready to lose your minds. So, listen up. Bass sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh. Bass sounds cool.
Thank you.
The vocals are too quiet,
Yeah.
but they sound cool. Drums are a little quiet, but they sound good. See, the guitar's like super grainy and really just simple. bass sounds good. What? And then it's the wrong timing. Sounds bad. Okay, so that's enough. But okay, so
Sounds like three people are playing one song and one person's playing another song, but only he knows.
yeah. So even non-musicians, you can hear that and you go like, yeah, there's something going on there. So I wanted just to present that bit of evidence and go like, man, whew. So comment.
Yeah.
I know you're listening. I know you musicians out there, or even just music lovers. The songs we're writing are pretty cool, and it's too bad you can't hear the vocals because he and I have been playing music together a long time, and he's very talented.
Yeah. That's Evan. He was on our show.
Yeah, he'll be back too. He liked it. He was like, "Oh, it's over."
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It was like a 3-hour
Yeah.
episode. And he's like, still ready to go.
So, yeah. So let's finish that and then let's move on. Let's talk
move
about
on.
Should we say any last thing about that?
You know, I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to move on.
Let's move on.
You
All
got a
right.
topic?
Woo! You got a topic?
I don't have a topic. I did want to just sort of a science review.
Let's do
about
that.
this.
Let's do a science review.
Science review.
Science review.
All aboard, science review. Okay. So, you know, there's a super blue blood moon this month.
No.
Last super blue blood moon. Huh?
What the hell does that mean?
The rare super blue blood moon eclipse of January 31st will thrill early morning sky watchers. So that's on a Wednesday. So that's coming up, guys. 31st, Wednesday. That's this Wednesday.
Of March or
Of-
February?
Oh, January.
Oh, it's right now.
Yeah, yeah. January's been a sick month for the moon stuff.
Shit. I didn't
Remember
know
we
that.
had that.
We had a super moon.
We had a super moon.
Mhm.
We had the eclipse, and we had the super blue blood moon. And I think there's one other.
What's a super blue blood moon? And did you know that super moon means like 8% closer or larger? It's like pretty
Yeah.
small.
Yeah. And
So
it's weird because it looks larger than it actually is because of
The
a
curve.
distortion in
retina.
our brains.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Yeah, because we're used to flat things. We don't do good with like huge domes of the sky. So it's actually an optical illusion
We'll do good.
where we perceive the moon to be larger than it actually is.
In our
It-
brains?
In our brains. In optical illusions. Can't not see it that way.
Well,
So that's that. And then we got Challenger disaster. 32 years later, astronauts' lessons from space will finally be released.
30. Oh, because Challenger blew up in January 32 years ago?
Yeah.
Shit.
Remember that?
No.
I remember that.
I was
You were 1?
years old.
2. Right,
I was
86. I was in 5th grade, Miss Sodden's class. It was... I'm not going to say it's a JFK moment because that was 9/11. But it was the JFK moment before 9/11. You know, I'll never forget where I was, what I was doing.
You were in school?
Yeah, I was in 5th grade class, Miss
And you
Sodden's
just
class.
watched all these scientists
And it was such a
die.
big deal. 'Cause it was a teacher going into space, right? So it was like everybody.
All the teachers, yeah.
And so they wheel in the TV on the cart and have the class watch it. And it was like, oh, what just happened? Everyone was just baffled. Like, what?
Morbid. Okay, can we go into what a super blue blood moon is?
Sure. Let me call up the article here.
Thank you.
Space.com.
But my wife would be into this.
The rare super blue blood moon eclipse. Let's see if I can find out what exactly it is. Do.
Nice little cloud there.
A lot of detail, but there's no quick summary of what it is. Basically, it's an eclipse.
Who's eclipsing what?
Total lunar eclipse, January 31st, 2018.
Wait, what's... Does that mean the moon's going to block the sun?
The moon passes through Earth's shadow.
So won't be able to see it as well. Okay, wait. Okay, the sun's over here. Walk with me. The sun's over here. Earth is here. And then the moon's here. It's going like this. And then we see it in our own shadow for a second. And that's a super blue blood moon?
Yeah, there's a little diagram.
Okay, yeah, let's show the audience here. Huh, okay. So
It's basically an eclipse.
Okay. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Space.com. Right on.
Space.com.
Cool.
I guess they're going to be live streaming it and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
So it's quite the event.
Well, this is important. This is like news of science. Keep going, Aubrey.
Yeah,
I like
so
this.
Challenge to disaster. That's
Sorry.
everyone knows where they were. If you can, if you want to comment, leave a comment. Maybe say where you were, what you were doing.
Yeah,
A
we'll
tragic
share it
event.
on the podcast if you comment.
A
What is its
lost
dial?
NASA satellite found after a decade. So an amateur
What?
astronomer satellite captured this view. Yeah, so this satellite went missing 10 years ago, and no one knew where it was.
Please
And
tell
this,
me it's been taking photos the whole time.
amateur astronomer discovered it. So it was a satellite that was taking images of. Actually, the name of the satellite is Image, and it was taking pictures of the Aurora Australis, which is the southern aurora.
Is Borealis northern?
Yeah. And what else? Let's see. Yes, there's gravity in space.
Yeah.
Very, very small amount.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can never fully escape, even if you
Yeah.
were out in the deepest of spaces, the tiniest little tickle would be pulling you from some star or something.
And space isn't empty either. There's like one molecule, one atom every square mile or something.
That's
It's crazy.
and
Might
those.
as well be empty.
It gets cold too at that level too. It gets just above absolute zero.
Right.
And
That's,
can we remind our audience what absolute zero is? Does everyone know that? at
That's
home?
the temperature at which all molecular motion stops,
Yeah.
which is, I think, only theoretical at this point.
Yeah, nothing's gotten to that cold.
Yeah.
Also, that's why I was saying it's near absolute zero. And it's a number, too. It's on the centigrade or Celsius scale somewhere. But, yeah, cold.
Dust storms may have played a role in atmosphere loss on Mars. Dust storms.
How would they... Okay, wait. So, like, storms on Mars of dust kind of messed up the atmosphere
Helping gas escape from the planet's atmosphere.
because the dust was cutting holes in the atmosphere? This is layman
got
guess.
that-
Call this layman guess.
Yeah, because, Mars has that, the Grand Canyon, big canyon on Earth. Mars has one it basically has a Grand Canyon that's like the size of Arizona or something.
So it's just
Massive cut. So maybe that was just like a fucking wind tunnel.
oh, crazy and just carved. Okay.
Yeah,
Isn't there frozen water on Mars too?
I think so.
Or there was.
The,
You can see
polar caps?
creeks.
Yeah.
You can see old creeks on the surface of Mars, like dry creeks.
Hmm.
And then they do have frozen ice on one of the moons of Saturn. See? Again, layman. This
Good.
is layman guessing.
NASA tracks potentially dangerous asteroid. Tracking a large asteroid will pass through Earth. Not pass through Earth. Will pass by Earth. There's all kinds of spelling mistakes in this article. Pass by
Weird.
Earth at a distance of only 200,000 miles, which is not that far.
So we're going to see it.
Not that far. That's closer than the moon, I think.
We're so lucky we haven't been fucking murdered by an asteroid 1,000,000 times by now.
Well, I think it's a 100% probability that
Yeah.
it will eventually happen.
It has happened.
It
and
has
will
happened.
happen again.
It'll happen again. It's just a question of when. And sometimes they don't even see these things coming because it'll be like behind the planet or something. You can't see it until it's like, oh shit,
Oh, and
it's
our-
right here.
Our budget is like 2% of what it needs to be for such a task.
Yeah, and there's various methods for getting rid of them. You can like shoot it with a nuke, or one of the most interesting ones was if it's far enough away, and the trajectory can be altered only slightly if you painted it. If you painted like one side of the asteroid, so that it would get more photons reflected on that side, so it would just nudge it ever so
It would
slightly.
move.
Yeah. Because photons have, it's energy, so, light is pushing, it can push things out of the way. It's just incredibly small amount of force.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that like, remember, what's that movie, Independence Day? Where the oil drillers have
That
to go to
was,
the...
Armageddon
excuse me.
with
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
And a lot of other
John
people.
McClane, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they're...
Liv Tyler,
They
Ben
have
Affleck.
to drill down and then drop this bomb. I mean, is painting it better than drilling down and putting a big-ass bomb in the middle of it?
I think it depends on how far away it is. And how much it needs to be nudged.
If an asteroid's flying at us at fucking who knows miles an hour, how are we going to get out to it in time? That boggles my mind. Like, how could Tesla fly a rocket there fast enough
Right.
to save everybody?
To blow it up and hope
Or
that
paint
the
it.
parts don't,
Yeah.
that the debris doesn't fuck us.
Murder
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah. 500-foot tsunamis. It could be bad.
It could be bad. It was bad back in the day. They
was
they
bad.
hypothesized that there was a time, there was some crossover between dinosaurs existing, or at least large reptiles existing, and human ancestors, and that we were actually prey for these giant
What?
lizards, and that's part of our sort of evolutionary aversion to lizards and snakes, and reptiles.
Yeah. We do
There'd
have
be
an
these
aversion,
big
but I have a
fucking
pet snake, which
Velociraptors hunting humans.
we haven't put my reptile on the show before.
No,
I think it would be good to do that
That'd
at
be
some
cool.
point. Yeah, and bring her out.
Animal guests. Okay, last one. 10,000-year-old Stone Age crayon discovered by archaeologists.
Colored wax?
Yeah, near the ancient lake Flixton.
What? Whoa, 10,000?
10,000 years.
A crayon.
In
Was
Europe.
what brand was it?
I think it was Crayola.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's...
With Azure.
I'm picturing just a clump. It's just something you'd hold in your hand like a big piece of chalk. That was like somehow beeswax and like berry juice.
Yeah, ochre is a natural clay earth pigment. And they were found in a region known for its creative influences, suggesting the use of ochre, I think that's how you pronounce it, ochre, to produce decorative pieces. It was 22 millimeters long and 7 millimeters wide, had a sharpened end. So similarly measured
Wait,
to
say
a
that-
modern day.
Dimensions a little slower?
22 millimeters by 7 millimeters. So like the shape of a pencil
Yeah.
of today. Wow. It looks exactly like a crayon, this guy says. Andy Needham. tip is faceted and has gone from a rounded end to a sharpened end, suggesting it has been used.
Wow.
And where they found it is like, I think, covered in peat, so it's everything's very well preserved. That's interesting, huh?
Oh, just some moss kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
10,000-year-old crayon. Amazing.
That is cool. Man, I really appreciate that science update.
That was the science update. All aboard.
Okay.
All right.
We got a couple options. We have a garden update, and I have a topic.
All right. Whatever you want to give us.
Let's do a garden update. Just could you get started?
Sure. Garden update. We are here at lovely Gradient Studios in Crockett, California. And we're going to do a garden update for you. And once again, I'd like to thank Final Corp for helping us to support the show, helping us get things set up, helping us get our mayonnaise together. And Final Corp, help us slide mayonnaise onto food. Thank you very much. Okay, garden update. What do we got? Stand by. Okay, nice.
So, this is part of our
got
garden
there?
update. Take a look at this little guy. Girl. This is a girl. Whew. She isn't named yet, but Gradient Gardens is going to grow meat rabbits, and we're going to harvest them here, and we're going to have, I run a little bit there. We're going to fur and poop for compost, and we're going to have meat that we're going to feed the reptile, the doggies, and ourselves with. We have gotten a little bit of pushback
Yeah?
on this garden update in some of our other circles.
People don't like the thought of rabbits getting
Yeah,
killed?
we've had some
Is that what it
vegan
is?
friends consider not wanting to be our friends anymore. They've said this. So I just want to be clear. I love animals.
Yeah.
I also, in my worldview, it is not evil to eat anything.
I agree.
I think that you could get up to higher consciousness like a human or, primates and stuff. And then you go down that scale, and then like pigs are on that scale, and I agree that's worth a conversation.
Right. The
But consciousness, neurological consciousness
hierarchy of food.
I think that's definitely worth the debate, and I definitely would sit down and listen to anyone's ideas about it. But my worldview is that meat is mandatory. There's too many complex amino acids that you can't get from just plants, and that's what our brain runs on. So
Well, we're used to it.
yeah, and when I've gone vegan, my body just hated it. Just totally fell apart.
Yeah. I think some people can do it better
Yeah.
than others.
Like,
make
we
the
have friends
transition.
who are fruitarians,
Right.
and they are happy motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I don't know if any
Eating
of y'all,
sugar all day. I mean,
it's just pure cold sugar all day.
yeah.
A little fiber.
You'd be amped up.
But what I'm wondering is like how they retain any muscle. But
Well,
it's
They don't.
they usually don't.
You don't see any bodybuilders that are
Fruitarian.
fruitarians or vegans or even vegetarians.
Well, there are.
And if you do,
well,
they're usually freakish metabolisms, and they're also using a lot of supplements.
yeah, there are some vegan bodybuilders who would argue, but they're also taking steroids. So yeah, no, I learned this on Joe Rogan, just so you know. I'm not just talking up my ass. But we're gonna name this little bunny. If you have any suggestions for a name, this is gonna be one of the two does. We have one buck as well. And so garden update is meat. And what do you think? I mean, there's
Bunny
lots of
burgers.
opinions. Yeah, we're gonna have bunny burgers, and I'm gonna have a fucking full length Viking coat.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm
That's
gonna
pretty
slippers
badass.
are happening.
Slippers.
You know, and it's like really, you look at them and they're hanging out. They got stuff to chew on. They're jumping around. They are clearly not hating life. It's clear. You can just tell when a being is
Yeah.
happy or unhappy. You can tell, and they're just chilling.
Yeah.
They're hanging with their buddies, and it's
How much
it's
is
not
the-
like it's worse than them being in the wild. They would be eagle food here, like
Oh
that.
yeah.
There's too many
Dogs.
prey birds
Yep.
and cats and stuff. Wouldn't work. They're not fast. This rabbit is not fast.
Right. Yeah, they kind of lumber around.
Mhm.
How much do you get for the poop?
You can get, several, maybe like
by
a sack the size
pound?
of a pillowcase. You know, like that. You
Okay.
might get, I don't know,
10
20
10
bucks.
pounds or
Yeah.
something? Oh wow.
I mean, you get some dollars for a sack of it because it's great compost actually.
Yeah.
Rabbit poop. So
And it's
you-
like not all runny and weird. It's all kind of
easy to shovel,
very
super easy to shovel
uniform
and work
shape
with.
and size.
We love your poop, dude.
And then you can sell the feet for charms.
You can.
I don't know how viable that is.
Yeah, there's just like already too
I guess
many
that's like
rabbit feet.
taxidermy
Yeah.
levels.
That's not in shortage, but people do want to feed their pets with clean, quality meat. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Raw. And we've heard we can save a lot of money down the road if we feed our pets raw food, which I think is true. But
oh yeah, because they're just
that's what they would do
they're
anyway.
used to. They
But
do that
right now we
anyway.
feed them pellets, dried pellets, and that's what they live on.
right.
And they're healthy enough, but they're lumps. Inferno has like lumps and stuff, and he's closing in on a decade, and it's like, well, you love this animal more than that animal. It's like in different ways, yeah. Like
Sure.
I want Inferno to eat clean, raw meat and guts, and so he can feel good and have small shits that aren't a fucking super soaker, and
Yeah.
well,
You love family more than you love some stranger.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
mean you hate the stranger.
It's like tribalism.
Yeah, I think it's just natural.
Yeah.
Protect your progeny and your tribe.
Yeah.
So you basically, what aren't you using? Just the intestines and the bones.
Absolutely everything is used.
What do you use the intestines for?
Feed the dogs and the chickens.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The dogs and the chickens will eat everything. We'll make bone broth out of the bones and then feed the bones to the chickens after that.
Hmm.
The chickens will eat them.
Yeah. And now think about how much wouldn't be used if you just bought a bunny burger.
Right.
They're probably throwing everything out.
Probably.
Throwing everything away.
And it has
So
to
you could argue it's actually
transport
more
and-
efficient.
It's more efficient. So someone said, or Rebecca said, it's okay if I were to buy dog food to feed my dog with that was made of rabbit, but if I were to make the rabbit myself, then you wouldn't like me. It's like, well,
Yeah, what was the reason? Was there a reasoning?
just animals.
You shouldn't be killing animals, so I can't be friends with you.
No, it was that, but there's. I don't know. I really don't know. Is the thing, because it's
Yeah.
like that's the thing. It's like it's okay
It
if I
sounds
buy a
like-
burger and eat it, but if I make a burger, then it's bad. But there's just that's the end of the conversation.
It sounds like the old virtue signaling, right?
But they don't even know that. It's just an internal. Some people I've encountered.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't think. I think some people are aware that they're virtue signaling. Some people aren't.
No, she doesn't
It's just the idea that I can't be friends with you because it's, and then there's no actual reason. Well, I don't know. That's. You sort of have to wonder, how good of a friend are they if they're that fickle about the criteria for being your friend, right?
Yeah, and we all have lines. Like,
Yeah.
if
But
I
it's
was like,
food.
dude, I want
It's
to
so-
eat your face, you'd be like, whoa, we can't be friends anymore.
Sure, but that threatens my personal safety.
I think people catch their personal safety up into shit like this for them. I think it feels like that. I think I do that. I
Be
catch my
interesting to
personal
have-
safety
it'd
into
be interesting
efficiency.
to have one of those people on the show and just see where they're coming from.
It would be cool, and I would I'd listen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've been vegan, vegetarian too.
Yeah. I met you were vegetarian.
Just don't. I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's like the cycle of life. The Earth is one gigantic compost pile,
Yes.
and we sort of live and die and feed back into the compost, and life goes on. You know.
Yeah, it's sort of like the compost is the life, and we're the like mushroom tips that come up
Yeah,
for a while
yeah,
and
yeah.
then go back underneath.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's you have 3 bunnies.
We got 3
in
bunnies.
the garden.
Yeah, and they're up in the air, and their poop is captured, and soon we're gonna buy more cages. We're gonna let them have a bunch of personal space and little lay boxes and stuff. But right now they're all just cuddling every day. So, and then we'll use that as a grow out cage, the one they're all in now, and that is once these are big enough, they're not old enough to breed. Once they're old enough, they'll be huge. This lady will be about twice this size.
Yeah.
She's maybe 3 pounds. We're talking maybe 7 or 8 by the time.
What's
she's
the ideal
full-grown.
number of rabbits to have to like make it all sustainable?
Well, there's a
the
lot.
dogs.
There's a lot of information on that actually.
Okay.
It depends on how your regimen too, because these rabbits you could be breeding every 30 days. Technically,
Wow.
they could give birth. You can get them pregnant the next day, and then you could be back on. That's rough. Most people do a 6-week cycle.
Okay.
So most people do like they let them get pregnant, and then they have their whole pregnancy, and then they have the kids, and they get 2 weeks off, just to chill and eat food, play around, jump in the grass, and sometimes people tighten that up. It really depends. So
Yeah.
basically, you could be producing an average litter is like 6 kits. They're called, and you know sometimes it's 11. But you could be doing that every 6 weeks, and you think each one is worth about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of meat per after they're cleaned, and they grow in a 10-week cycle. Because after 10 weeks, the food to growth ratio is a diminishing return. They sprout the first 10 weeks in size.
Yeah, and then it's just not worth it.
And then it's just diminishing returns on size, and the way that they're processed is instantaneous. Absolutely, and there's just no. It's real clean. It's like if
Yeah.
I could go that way, well, that would make some sense.
Yeah. $1 Million Baby style.
Ooh.
I don't know if that works.
I don't know.
That's a reference. Separating the head from the spinal column.
Yeah, you just.
Hmm.
But not this one. This one's gonna live several years with us.
Okay.
And that's why we want to be petting her and stuff, because I want to be able to hand her to kids. You know,
Right.
pet the bunny, and they're gonna be making the other bunnies.
Cool.
And so yeah, so I guess that's the garden update.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Garden update. Gradient Gardens. Once again, I'd like to thank Final Corp, and I'd like to thank everyone who is listening to this show. We've been doing this for a while, and it's always a thrill to see people contributing and listening and tuning in. Final Corp is a multinational, multi-galactic corporation founded by Palmer Eldritch and Palmer Eldritch's son. And they have many, many interesting and innovative products. Yelling-based reminders, boyfriend canceling headphones, poison ivy flavored mayonnaise. The list goes on and on, really. So I'd like to thank them once again from the bottom of my mayonnaise jar. There's a hearty thank you to Final Corp. Okay. Well, I got a little bit of the sounds good here. Stand by. Okay. Never mind. I was going to do a sounds good, but I
Well, let me get my headphones.
didn't really have one. I was just kind of bluffing.
Well, I have a sounds good.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's do my sounds good. Mosh part. Mosh part.
That's two 7-string guitars, right?
Well, actually, that was one guy. That one guy wasn't even there. This was just one guy doing 2 tracks.
Oh, I see.
Actually, the new version is way crazier than that one. And we did this in 2 practices. So this is basically this is what you got after the one guy that I met twice. We made this.
Nice.
And so that's just, it's just a rough take, and obviously it's not mixed or anything, but you
Yeah.
guys get
You
you
get the
guys
idea.
get the good stuff on this podcast. We let you in early on
Fresh.
what's going on.
Doesn't get any fresher than
Yeah,
that.
this is really fresh. So
You guys have a name?
no, we're not named yet. And we I think we named a
Take
song.
your time.
We named a song. Just Sins Forgotten. And so far there's lyrical content kind of the one part of one of the songs at least is sort of touching in on things that are very near and dear to me, which is like the insanely wealthy and that what that kind of means for the majority of people.
Yeah.
So that's good. I like that. But it's not all going to be about that, though.
Take your time with the band name. I've
Yeah.
been in that I keep calling it indie rock band because we don't have a name. We've had many names. As our personnel changes, our names change. So we're still trying to fucking figure out a name.
Yeah. It's hard. But
I have a whole list. But
see,
it's still hard.
well, maybe you could throw some ideas for the metal song you just heard, or maybe the listeners.
I'll throw out
If you
some
have an
names.
idea,
I'm not going to go through it all, but let's.
it's
I'll
got to
read
be
some names here.
it's got to be heavy.
For the song or for the name of the band?
The band, that band, because I'm just calling them the 7 Stringers, and that's not a good. That doesn't work.
Let's see.
One of the guys is talking about buying a 9-string, and he's like pretty serious about it.
It's funny. How about hoof?
Oh. It's like the foot, which is reference to the hand, which is, of course, a large gang of super talented ninja
But
warriors.
it's also almost satanic.
Yeah,
got
because it's a cloven
right. Foot.
Mark of the beast.
How about? I thought I had a metal section.
Oh, a metal section. Wow, how
Lord,
lucky.
I always liked Lord Germ, but
Ooh.
Evan didn't like that.
The only reason he doesn't like that is because there's Lord Worm is already a thing.
Yeah.
So that's like,
yeah, it's close. It's
Yeah.
a little close to that.
but the thing is that lets you know it's a good idea. Lord Germ is a good idea.
It's a good idea.
It's already basic. It's so close to taken.
Yeah.
I actually
It'd be a good song name. You could get away.
You
with
get
it
away,
being a song name.
especially if he was a little Lord Wormy.
Yeah. Apotheosis. That's not being used.
That's I know. I guess the act of apotheosis meaning like becoming godlike.
Mm-hmm.
The act of becoming godlike.
Yeah.
I heard someone use it in a YouTube video. I was like, whoa.
Huh.
Someone said apotheosis, and I was like, damn, I've never heard. I mean, we almost named our other band that.
Right, but you hadn't really heard it out in the wild.
No, but then some smart guy was like, the apotheosis. And I was like, whoa.
There's a Babylon 5 episode, Falling Towards Apotheosis.
Oh, is there? Hmm.
Just a little trivia.
I have an idea
What?
for a name, but it might be it's a little too ballsy.
Mm-hmm.
A little too, like, on the nose. Click. I thought of, what if you had, like, a super heavy metal band and the name was just Black?
Probably taken.
It's
That would be
not.
pretty awesome.
I don't think it's taken.
Black band.
Just Black.
Yeah, why not? There's Death, right?
Yeah.
Morbid Angel.
I don't think Black is a band. I mean, we could search. Is Black
I'd be
a band?
surprised if it wasn't. It is good though. You know, it's funny. We were talking. Our band was talking. Orville's like, "What if we called ourselves the Stones?" It's like, yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Or the Beatles, B-E-E.
Beetles.
Like the insect instead of B-E-A. Yeah, we're the Beatles. What? Oh, is that taken? Is that a band? Big Ouch. Captain Saga.
The best bands with black in the name. Black Sabbath, Black Flag, the Black Keys, the Black Crows, Black Label Society, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, Black Uhuru, Black Lips, Blackfoot, Black Oaks, Arkansas, Ladysmith Black Mambazo. One more time. Ladysmith Black Mambazo. Black Mountain, Black Street, the Black Angels, Paint It Black, Black Kids,
Paint It Black's probably Rolling
Godspeed
Stones,
You
probably.
Black Emperor, Black Country Communion, Blackberry Smoke, Black Cobra. You know, but
But no black.
well, hey, let's go back. I thought I saw Black Wonderful Life. What's that? Is that maybe they mean like African?
At RX Bar, we
Sorry.
tell you what's on the inside,
Okay.
on the outside. A handful of
Well.
these.
Was this them?
Wonderful Life by Black.
Oh, so the okay. So it is taken.
I don't know.
All right.
6 million views.
All right.
All right. Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't think that counts because there's no, you can't click on it, and there's no other things by Black to like you can't.
How about
So I'm gonna say no.
How about the Sandmen?
Oh,
86 on Concepts. Audio slash weirdo. This is one I like because it reminds me of audio video.
Oh, audio weirdo.
Yeah, audio slash weirdo instead of audio slash video.
Mm-hmm.
I have to explain it, so maybe it isn't that good.
Well, you only have to explain it so everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah. The Zoners. I always thought the daggers,
Or the Dagger.
or the dagger. It's got to be taken. It's got to be something.
What about just Dagger?
Hip,
Dagger is a cool word.
dagger. Yeah. Yeah, I like band names that are visual, make you see something.
Ooh, what about Sentence?
Huh. Sounds like
Because the two meanings.
prog rock band or something.
Well, yeah, kind of,
Yeah, sentence.
Sentence.
Yeah, I like it. There's a few.
Okay.
You know, if anyone listening, you got some band name
Send
ideas,
them over. Send them over.
just send them over.
Okay, well then,
You can give us a call or you can send us an email. You know what? Let me get you the. Go ahead. Okay.
so I have a topic.
All right.
My topic
Cool.
is viral videos. What is
Okay.
it? There's this thing here, and I'm gonna bring up the
Like-
screeny boom.
Like
here.
videos about HIV?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
maybe because
Videos that go popular, get
Yes.
super popular, and get. I guess they get like a spike of views. in
the
a short
secrets to
period
a
of time.
killer viral video. So I'm like,
Okay.
I'm curious about this.
All right.
So because I think this is something everybody wants, to varying degrees. Like I've made lots of videos and put them on YouTube, and most of them, just there's like, 18 views on them,
Yeah.
and it's just like somebody I know, and then maybe 7 other people clicked it, maybe, and they're like, yeah, anyway, they didn't feel the need to share it. But then a couple, like
yeah.
one of the videos I made is 30 seconds long and got 10,000 views.
It's easy to watch.
Yeah,
Short and sweet.
it's short and sweet.
But there's probably other components like the way it's titled and the actual content. But I think
I don't know.
I'm not sure how much the content matters. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a component of virality. But there is a lot of other things going on. It has to be found. It has to be titled correctly. It's like there's a lot of like marketing
Hashtags.
hashtags.
Like I have this other video that's a tour of a boat that I used to live on and own.
Uh-huh.
and it's like at the 800 mark. Like, what is...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know 800 people.
Right.
But why isn't it 8,000? And it's like, our feelings are tied up into that
Right.
a lot.
Even though it's a fantastic innovation. I mean, think about 30 years ago, having someone making a TV show and having 800 people watch it. It'd be amazing. You wouldn't even consider that it'd be possible. Now, it's like, no, only 800?
Mm-hmm.
Only 800 people watch my show?
But
Boo.
the 800 gives me a smile.
Yeah.
Because I'm
yeah.
like...
Even the 18 or the 10, it's like,
Yeah, if it's 0, it's like, ah.
I'm just like, I wonder who was watching that. You know? 'Cause it can't just be people we know. There has to be other people watching it. Strangers are watching this, and that's fun.
Yeah,
That's fun.
that is cool. Because, like, every so often we'll get 50-something views.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we didn't tell 50 people.
Right. And why is this one getting 50 views and why not the other one?
Titling, hashtags, how good it sounds. I think the audio matters, like
Yeah.
quality.
It's pretty. We got some pretty good quality.
Have you ever wanted to create a video or series of videos for yourself or your business? The chances are that you have, and perhaps you've even had a go at producing one yourself. The good news is that it's becoming easier than ever to create one. Most of us has pretty powerful high-definition video recorders in our pockets. Then there are tablets, digital cameras, camcorders, and more. However, producing the video is only the beginning. What's the point of it all if all your hard work, if only your family and friends see it? What's the recipe to make that video go viral? How do you create a video that is contagious, that gets shared, liked, embedded like wildfire? Viral video producers all have one thing in common: recognizing a video opportunity at the perfect moment of ripeness. Being able to capture the best time to release a particular video on YouTube means having a video people can't stop watching.
Timing.
It must hit at the perfect time so they can relate, engage, and enjoy.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a conjunction of a bunch of different factors.
But it seems like timing's like the top one,
Timing's the top
which
one.
I don't really pay much attention to. Interesting.
Like a story breaks and you make a video about it in a new and interesting way.
And it's titled well and looks good and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. There are some digital marketers that seem to give that impression, but in order to be successful, you need to plan and prepare by taking some simple yet smart steps in a calculated fashion. Your video will be the most talked about, shared, and watched content out there in the internet kingdom. Big red bold letters.
Internet
Killer
kingdom.
content. Yeah. Is it a kingdom?
Oh, I guess so.
It's all anonymous, though.
Yeah, but I mean, we have King Zuckerberg and King Google.
Ooh, Anonymous Kingdom? That's a cool name.
It's kind of cool. I like Hostile Doctor too. It's kind of corny, but
It's like Tom Segura's doctor is
It
a
sounds-
hostile doctor.
it sounds like a band you'd start when you're like 16.
Hostile doctor? Yeah.
In the suburbs.
Because it's tot. It's too much of that.
Hostile Doctor. Dude, fucking Hostile Doctor. Fucking badass. Richie plays some sick fucking licks, dude. Okay, what else we got on the viral video?
I want to
list?
share this fantastic infographic from who is hosting this, which give you, that's what it says, which give you the steps to produce a video with the capabilities of going viral. They're reverse engineered the most viral videos out there and included an easy-to-follow strategy. It's not just about being a creative genius. Your imagination may spark interest. But how to make your video spread like wildfire? Do you know how to market your video? Have you thought about the emotions it evokes in people? It's time to look at the process in a different way. From the standpoint of your viewers, by doing so, will become crystal clear. How? The infographic says it all, but I want to share a few bits from it that caught my eye. It's very tempting to just hit that publish button as soon as you've uploaded your video. But if you want optimum engagement at the start, it's vital you release your and promote your video at the time when your audience will see it. According to Fast Company, engagement rates on Facebook are 18% higher on Thursdays and Fridays. For Twitter, 17% higher at the weekends.
Yeah, everyone's getting ready to. Everyone's slacking off at work
Mhm.
Thursday and Friday.
6 factors for contagious content. I'm just going to read them.
Yeah.
Social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical value, stories. Those are the 6. Those are the 6 factors to contagious content.
That's cool. What do we have of those? What do we bring to the table?
We have social currency, emotion, triggers, stories. We don't really have.
Practical value.
Uh-huh.
But it's entertaining, so that's
Yeah. I get okay.
trade-off.
Public. We're not. It's like it says public.
Casting error. Is it
Interesting. Let's see.
be prepared when it goes viral?
Be prepared. Okay. How about you? Have you had any experiences with publishing videos? How did it go? Have you had any points you'd like to raise, please? As answer.
Well, we title our
It's
videos
just a crazy image.
with the name of the show and the main topics.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have tags and the description.
What is it? Just the.
Yeah, it's always written. That's cool.
Yeah. And on that topic, I have a little bit more, if that's
Okay.
all right with you. This is on, but I think it's the only camera going. If you want to restart those, you could. But we're on. We're live. Yeah, technical issues. So, okay. Here are 10 pros to using social media, because this whole thing is kind of wrapped up in this, you know, and there's actually a quiz, Aubrey. I have a quiz for you today. So the top 10 pros. Okay, all right. Number 1, it's the lowest cost form of marketing, like versus like paying for a newspaper or something like that. You know what I mean? It still is the lowest cost. Using social media because it's free. 2, huge potential audience and the possibility of message going viral. Like, okay, huge potential audience. It's not just marketing. It's a channel used for customer service, business intelligence, news, messaging. It's like, it's more. Oh, I think that it just switched over on me to something else. That's weird. Yeah. Number 4, offers a closer connection with your clients, just because you can have them engage. It's a source of instant feedback. It's a useful tool for market research, intelligence, and insights. Engenders loyalty, facilitates referrals. Social media does. Provides lots of lovely data. It can get, you can be great for Google too. Would that just?
Hey,
That's
we got to help out Google
Yeah.
here.
Excellent medium to promote your content. Well, okay, that's sort of a weird one. Okay, here's 10 cons.
No, that's because how would you promote your podcast before social media? It's like hard to think about.
I mean, YouTube
would
is
be-
social media.
It would be iTunes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, back in like 2005 or something. Or Facebook. Yeah, we take it for granted.
Yeah. YouTube is my main social media. That's what I do the most with. I watch the
Yeah.
most and put the most on for me is YouTube. Twitter, barely. Facebook, a little bit.
Same thing for me. I don't really use Facebook. If I remember, I use Twitter just to promote our shows.
I mean,
when they go live.
Today I was using Facebook to my brother, and it was because it was convenient.
Right.
But we're talking about business. But that's for a later episode. We don't have time for that today.
Yeah.
All right.
Tiny houses. Stay tuned.
Okay. Top 10 cons according to equinetmedia.com. Number 1, takes time, lots of time, all the time. Social media, this is cons.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a time suck.
Hmm.
Time sink.
Number 2, you're in it for the long term. Many social media channels need continuous attention, you know.
Yeah.
Any significant absence will result in major loss. Like it's like you're hooked.
That's weird, huh?
It's not just marketing.
Addiction.
You can mess yourself up on accident. You know. That's a changing landscape. Like social networks can change their terms, conditions, functionality, and even disappear overnight.
Yeah,
leaving you
go away.
It's gone. You know.
YouTube might go away.
Mhm. It might.
With all the censorship and all that stuff that's
Dude,
happening.
we have I have a lot of data stored there.
And there's, yeah. With especially with us.
Oh,
Not all 60 episodes, but there's, I don't know, 30. And, there's competing sites. I mean, nothing's forever, right?
no.
Facebook will probably go away. You replace it with something that's more, people like more. However, they're so huge that they're going to fight tooth and nail.
Probably Facebook is my guess.
Might not even call it the internet. Just call it the Google.
Probably. Number 6, crisis and the faux pas. That whole thing.
That's the thing.
Number 7, hard to measure ROIs. You know, like hard to measure that return on investment.
Yeah.
While there's a wealth of data available to the social media marketer, unless you are very careful, it often only tells you how popular you are. And bear in mind that popularity might not even be amongst your target audience. So it's like
Right.
hard to measure. Number 8 on downsides, top 10 of social media. Just like kind of meta conversation, just saying. Open, public, worldwide. Conversations on social media often take place in public, out in the open, or at least in front of an audience. That makes some companies feel awkward and uncomfortable. They imagine that any errors will be magnified and jumped on by the crowd. And indeed, sometimes
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
But it also means that positive messages and outcomes benefit from the very same circumstances. Number 9, false, unreliable There are no filters on the internet. There are no checks on what's being posted to social media either. But that sentence says something about our society. There are no filters on the internet. There's no checks on what is being posted on social media. Like, that implies that, like, one doesn't trust themselves and that they need something over them to tell them what's right and wrong in this kind of weird way. That to me lends that. What do you think?
I don't think that's true. I think there are filters, and the filters are of our own making. Google, various, the filter bubble, that's what I'm talking about, where you are served results based on your own preferences, and that becomes your own echo chamber. So someone could post something, and yeah, it's not filtered, but you would never see it because what's being served up to you is filtered. In the sense that it goes based on your preferences. You see things that you otherwise, or you don't see things you would otherwise see if there wasn't a filter. And Twitter and YouTube have been doing censoring for the past years. So there is censorship and filtering, at least in social media.
Does net neutrality fall into this too? Well, you're a computer guy. Tell me what your technical background tells you about.
I don't know enough about what the net neutrality thing, to be honest. I mean, it seems like a scam to pay for more data, right?
Mm-hmm.
But cell phones are essentially a scam, and we just live with them. Doesn't cost. I mean, sending a text message costs nothing,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the net should be neutral. There shouldn't be any preference for certain corporations to get more bandwidth.
Absolutely.
Once you realize the government is like the DMV, that's the whole government is like that.
Yeah.
Super inefficient, bloated, red tape, way over bureaucratized.
I am very much
It's not
against
like
the DMV.
oh yeah, the government will take care of it. They're competent. No. If you ever been to the DMV, scale that up. That's the entire government is like that. Basically incompetent and inefficient.
It's like we're not getting out as much as we're putting in. That's the real thing. We've passed the point of more harm than good. It wasn't always like
Yeah.
that, but now it is.